All right, hey everybody. It is Monday, just after Christmas, and I'm here at Premier RV, Sales and Service in Oregon. They've been kind enough to let me bring my coach in while they're gone for holiday, and I'm going to be doing my services. So first I'm going to start off my chassis inspection, and then I'm going to move on to my oil change and my generator oil change and check coolant levels and grease all my fittings and so on and so forth. So I've got my coach up on the lift and I'm getting ready to do everything. I got my flashlight here. Last step's a doozy. So let's head out here. All right, so we're outside here. Got the old flashlight ready. Now you'll notice here I got some air horns mounted up here in the very front on my entry step area, and that's because I'm doing the roof mount patio awnings, and so those had to come off the roof and get installed here. So that's what that yellow airline's doing up there, and looks like I didn't even cut my zip ties because I was laying on the ground, so I'll have to cut those while I've got it up here in the lift. Here's the back sides of those LED headlight or LED fog lights that I've installed. And I think I'm gonna put some light bars up in there. And here's the back side of the wiring where it goes into that E-chain to make its way to the entry step where I've got that white light. So here's my condenser. Gonna just give it a visual inspection for my front AC system. And then right here is the see-through spot so you can check your front brake pads. So front pads are looking good. And then this has got the steering stabilizer added onto it from the previous customer, or previous owner, excuse me. And then we'll come over here, do a sight on those. Those are still looking really good. And then we've got the fuel tank here. And just up in the middle on the older Intrigues and a lot of the older chassis is gonna be my air dryer. So I'll be doing an air dryer service, changing the cartridge out that goes inside of there, and then be changing out some of the O-rings. So that's gonna be the chassis air dryer. And now up here in the very front, I've got these drains for my tanks and for my low points. I wanna do those on a regular basis. Make sure you're not getting any water into your tanks if your air dryer's not catching them. So now on this chassis here, you're gonna have the straight axle front suspension, and then you're gonna have the dual airbags. Do a little airbag inspection here. It looks like they're getting a little worn. Have to do those here pretty soon. Not right away though. But somebody asked about Monaco chassis. Monaco used an H-frame system that had an airbag there, and then you'd have another airbag there with a shock, and you'd have 4 airbags and 4 shocks, and then this big old straight axle. And they worked pretty good, but they never really changed it. Whereas Country Coach, we ended up with front independent suspension and whatnot later, and then the other stuff. So I think that the Monacos drive real well, but I don't know much about how good they are compared to independent suspension coming out. The key is just to give Coach a test drive. So I've got my front ride height valve here. Now on these older chassis, you'd have a ride height valve on each side in the front, doing the right to left, whereas later we did them in the rear, doing them right to left. There was a recall on some of these coaches where there was a slide room directly above me here on this driver's side, plus the generator, which is directly above me. And then they had to move those ride height valves to the back. So it's kind of, as it evolved, the ride height valves kind of moved around. Now I've got my new generator all installed here. Got my exhaust done by my good friend Ken over at Junction City Muffler. Got that tucked up high and tight for me. And then we use the factory non-insulated. Funny part is that when it cools off, you can actually hear that exhaust shrinking back down. But after further review, I'm noticing I'm getting a lot of road spray off this front tire up into my radiator here and my overflow hose and this edge. So I think I'm going to come and put a rubber flap right here that hangs down to help some of that spray. But everything else looks good on that. Make our way back here to the back. Got the plumbing bay, of course, and then the propane tank, and then this channel that I've got my LED lights mounted in, so that way you don't see the red reflection when you're looking in from the other side, but you just see it glowing. Got a little bit of rust here, not super bad. About time to replace that. You know, that's going to be common on some of these coaches after they just get used. I mean, we got 120,000 on this bad boy. Getting ready to, I think, do some plastic inner fender wells in here to keep this spray off all these components. Make it a little easier to pressure wash and clean. But here we are in the rear. Got the brake inspection sights for right here. And then we'll come over here and the brake inspection sights again. So rear brakes are looking good for me. And now on these Gillig chassis, you end up with a rear sway bar. And then you end up with a front sway bar also. If I remember right, Country Coach only had a rear sway bar on their own chassis that they built the next product here. Here's my rear 6-pack for my leveling system. You'll have one of those up in the front, looks similar to it. Sometimes you gotta hunt for it. Looks like I'm getting some oil dripping out of my speed controller here for my rear fan, so I might take some inspecting on that one. Got the supplemental circulation pump here to be able to keep the dash coolant circulating at a good rate. And then I've got my rear ride height valve here just being 1. So that kind of covers that part. Here's the back side of the radiator. Give this fan a good pull, make sure the bearings aren't really going out in there. I got a little cancer happening under here. I think I might scrape that all off. Now that I get to use this fine lift, I'm going to actually make some changes and just be able to clean a lot of things up. Whew, somebody caught something right there. I wonder what that was. I don't think it was me though. Looks kind of old. Never know. Never know what you're going to find on the road when you're kicking along. So I think that pretty much covers the back. There's my muffler, of course. And that's pretty much it. So those were a couple things. Wanted to check my brakes and whatnot. Just give it a good bottom side inspection. Got my fuel filter, my 7-way plug and the air for a tow car. But so this is the tour of the Gillig chassis, the last year that Country Coach would have used a Gillig. And I think that's really all I've got. I got some styrofoam popping out here. Looks like I'm gonna pull that out. But super spoiled with this lift to be able to get all these things dialed in under here. There's some mild cracking on these bags, but I'm gonna tell you, I've seen some semi trucks my buddy's got. Whew, those bags look brand new compared to his stuff. But all right, well, hey, it's probably enough of you guys. Let me get this light out of my face, go out from under this coach. So that's my beautiful 96 chilling up on the lift, hanging out about 6 feet up in the air. But hey, thanks everybody for watching. Hope you're having a great day. Comment below what you might want to see on that chassis stuff. I'm not going to give you a big mind-numbing video of changing the air dryer out. I mean, if you want to see that, I'm sure you can find one by Googling here on the old YouTube and find some guy that's got something like that. I might throw you show you where I did that, hit all the Zert fittings and greased everything and the oil change, but then I may not. So hey everybody, hope you're all having a great day. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe notification and don't forget the likes. But that's all I've got today. Thanks again. Till next time. Bye-bye.